Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 underwater discoveries that cannot be explained. Did you know that 70% of the whole world is covered by water? And as much as 95% of that water remains unexplored. But here's some areas of water which have been explored and amazing things have been found underneath. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 is ancient Egyptian treasures. Egypt is a country known for having a rich history. And I don't just mean rich as in a lot of history, I mean there's lots of treasures in Egyptian history. And along with those lost treasures are lost cities. The city of Thonis Herculean, for example, disappeared in the 8th century. It was struck by a tidal wave causing an earthquake, and then the ancient city disappeared forever. Or at least that's what people thought. A few years ago, people were diving off the coast of Alexandria, Egypt. That was when they found over 40 square miles of the old forgotten city. It was totally submerged under the water, and inside the city were many Egyptian treasures. This included things like a sculpture of a pharaoh. There was also the god Osiris with a golden eye. The divers also found ritual ceremonial barges and a black granite carving of a priest's head. There was also a ceramic Bes, which was a god who protected people against evil spirits. However, they've never discovered who these treasures really belonged to, especially as the lost city was a poor one. Next up is Greek city. One of the most interesting parts of history is ancient Greece. So many developments were made in the Bronze Age. You may think we've explored all aspects of ancient Greece. But recently, some divers in the Aegean Sea found a lost Greek city. They were searching for evidence of the oldest village in Europe, and they believed this lost city could be the oldest village in Europe. The settlement is over 4,500 years old and covers 12 acres. Inside they found defense structures, pavements, pathways, towers, tools, and pottery. After a massive team of divers scraped the area, they found over 6,000 artifacts. And they even found some old volcanic rock. This led some to theorize that this city could have been wiped out by a volcano before being buried underwater. This sounds like the most unlucky city in the world. Next up is 15-ton ancient pillar. So we all know Stonehenge is above ground and amazes people to this day. But recently a group of divers discovered an underwater Stonehenge. This was complete with a precisely carved 15-ton stone pillar. It was constructed over 9,300 years ago by Stone Age people. The thing no one can explain is, how did they cut or carry a 15-ton limestone pillar? They drilled many holes in it and transported it over 300 meters. There would be no way for them to transport it or any tools for them to drill holes with. This has since baffled oceanographers and divers, and so far this 15-ton stone pillar remains a mystery. Next up is billion-dollar treasure. A few years ago, a Colombian ship called the San Jose was discovered. That's already interesting, but this was dubbed the richest shipwreck in the world. This was a Spanish galleon which was blown up by the British. This occurred around 300 years ago. No one on board survived, but what did survive was the $1 billion worth of valuables they were carrying. The ship's cargo included gems, jewelry, gold and silver. It went down 1,000 feet underwater. Then, centuries later, it was found off the coast of the Caribbean. Only the Colombian officials know where it is, and they won't disclose the exact location. This is to make sure looters don't try and steal the billion-dollar treasure. But it's still pretty amazing that they found all of this treasure after all these years. Next up is ancient city. A few years back, some Turkish and German experts found the lost city of Cain. You might have heard of Cain, and that's because it's where the Athenians and the Spartans battled in 406 BC. The Athens won, and this city then later remained a mystery. It was a lost, submerged city, but was recently found. It can be found off the west coast of Turkey. And believe it or not, around Cain are 3 more islands, which were all also lost and were discovered recently. Next up is shipwreck artifacts. So you might have heard of the Antikythera shipwreck. It happened off the island of Antikythera in Greece. However, this happened absolutely ages ago. Since then, the 2,050-year-old ship and everything it was carrying has been lost underwater. But it was thrown back into the spotlight in 1900 when researchers discovered an amazing mechanical device from the ship. This prompted more divers to go down later on, and they found some amazing things. This includes treasures, finely carved bronze and marble statues, glassware, jewelry and coins. They also found other areas of the ship. However, the whole ship has not yet been fully explored yet because it's too dangerous. The ship's been broken into various parts and some of it has fallen to extreme depths. This means much of it is still unexplored as it's so risky. Next up is $50 million treasure. So you may think after the $1 billion treasure, 50 million wouldn't be that amazing. But I can assure you this found treasure is absolutely mind-blowing. That is because this ship was found off the island of Jussaro, Finland. And this ship sank so long ago in the 5th century. It was carrying a lot of passengers, a lot of valuables, and happened in 1468. The massive shipwreck measures 30 meters and has a lot of treasure underneath. This includes 10,000 gold coins, estimated to be worth around $50 million today. They also found many unidentified lead objects, and people still haven't found out what these are. This ship is very mysterious and no one knows exactly how it sunk. Next up is Spanish City. So if you were to think of a 2,500-year-old buried civilization, you may think of Greece or Egypt. But a few years back, a researcher called Manuel Caveras found the old town of Tartedos. This was a legendary ancient civilization which had been flooded. For 2,500 years, no one could find this place. But by using satellites, Manuel managed to take some pictures and then went there in real life. He found some amazing and large ancient buildings. He also found things like waterways, port jetties, and various other walls. There were even some remains of city streets and people's homes. However, no one knows what flooded this city so badly it could be lost for 2,500 years. Next up is 600-year-old ship. So you may have heard of the royal ship of Henry V. It was one of his greatest ships, nicknamed the Holy Ghost. It was commissioned when he had a war against France. However, this ship got lost for centuries. One British historian called Ian Frail, however, found the ship. He used satellite photography and then managed to track it down in the waters. It turns out the ship was actually buried in the Hampshire River. This is a river that goes through Hampshire, England. It's only 28 miles in length, but it can go very deep, which is how the ship got buried for so long. Next up is SAKA settlement. That's right guys, we're going to finish off this list with one more amazing ancient civilization found. You may have heard of the Central Asian country Kyrgyzstan. Well, in Kyrgyzstan was the SAKA settlement. However, this settlement was lost underwater for 2,500 years. However, Siberian scientists managed to track it down after all of these years. It all started with one piece of ceramic pot which was found. Then by using clues which were on the pot, they found over 200 more artifacts from the lake. Then after getting divers down there, they found many other artifacts and the old settlement. They even found amazing things like bronze ritual sickles. And there were many pieces of language and slang which were unknown carved onto the ceramic pots. And they even found a SAKA usum. A SAKA usum was a pot used for rituals to keep ghosts away. So guys, these Siberian scientists pretty much found 2,500-year-old ghost hunters. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most amazing underwater discovery we cannot explain. If you guys want more awesome videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.